Hey, what's up, guys? Well, the last couple videos I've done has been on a little RC cars. We're starting out with one of the newest toys that I picked up. I just haven't ran it yet. So we made a trip out yesterday out to Hobby World. It's in Jacksonville off 103rd. They've been around for like almost 40 years. They're real big into a lot of the planes, the old school style trains, and of course the different RC cars. And with the electric cars taking more popularity now, of just basically plug and go. You know, a lot of people are getting away from the nitros, but this is my first nitro car right here. It wasn't bad. Picked it up for $25 off a Facebook trading group. Only thing it was minus the radio and receiver. So bought another car after this one. Swiped the better radio out of it. Put the FM in my nitro car. Gave my daughter the AM style because she didn't need a lot of the high-tech stuff that I play with. But the point of this video, seeing what I picked up yesterday for the nitro car. The car itself has been complete. Everything is hooked up. Let's cut a little light on my little hobby stand. Well, first of all, went and picked up some T-Blend nitro fuel. It's not bad. It's a quart for $9.99. $10 for a quart of fuel. I should have went ahead and splurged for an entire gallon. It was like $22. But not knowing how much I'm going to run this car, and if you know a lot about this nitro fuel, it will absorb moisture, so I didn't want to get anything more than what I needed right now to get started. I think it was still a good buy at $10. It gives me enough fuel to play around for a while. The tanks on these cars aren't that big. Well, of course, now we got fuel for the tank, so we got that, but let's see what other stuff we got in the little goodie bag I picked up. Just as well as picking up some fuel, we had of course, if you're going to play with nitros, you're going to need a fuel bottle. Little fuel bottle was $5.99, came with everything it needs. This is a Duratrax, same brand name as the car that I'm running, so I thought that was cool. It's not bad. So we got the entire fuel bottle set up, so now we can just siphon out of the big bottle into my little bottle. This is 250cc, I believe, something like that. So $6. Got a fuel bottle, $10 for the quart of nitro fuel. So as I looked around this car, I knew I was missing an important part to the engine itself, and that's going to be, if you noticed, the carbs right there. Went ahead and picked up HPI Racing air filter. It was pretty cool. Comes with everything you need. The filter has two different style adapter necks, a couple zip ties, and we'll be breaking into this in a minute, checking it all out. HPI is very, very good brand. This wasn't bad. This was $10. So I needed an air filter. There's no point in running this engine without one. It just as any other kind of car, you don't want to run your engine without a sort of air cleaner to go ahead and filter out all the air, especially if we're going to be running this off-road application. So what do you think? HPI, I don't think it was a bad deal. $10, a genuine part. And I don't think there's too many other things I picked up. Of course, just, let me put this off to the side, excuse me guys. Well, just as well, I needed to just go ahead and grab an extra glow plug since I don't know much about these. The guy was telling me on glow plugs are kind of like a light bulb. Either they'll come on and work or they'll just go out. You never know how long they're going to last. So we picked up a Traxxas 3232X glow plug for this. So I was like, that was pretty cool. This thing was $5. A lot of this stuff I'll be buying online from now on, buying extra glow plugs and stuff just to have it. So that way, it's always good to have them in the box. Now, as well as a lot of you guys are into nitros and a lot of other stuff, you know as well, to get this thing going, you're going to have to heat the glow plug up. And I looked around to see what they had, and I'm not very fond of the glow plugs the glow plug igniters that you have to sit there and charge them and keep them charged and everything. I have enough to do with my electric cars. So this was one, little glow plug igniter that they had, which I thought was pretty cool, so I went ahead and opted for this. It was $9.50. If you notice, we had took it out the package yesterday to test it and make sure it was long enough. And what you get is you got your standard clip-on, even got a little cap, simple little clip-on glow plug igniter. But if you notice, at the other end is just two bare wires. And the reason for this one is, if you ever seen those big 6-volt lantern batteries, they use kind of something like that, but it's made for for engine models. They're only a 1.5. So the cool thing with this is I have some different little battery holders where you just plop a battery in. It's got 2 wire ends. I can run this off a 1.5 AA, AAA. Well, not probably AAA, but what I'm going to do is I think I have one for the C battery. So that way I could use a simple C battery to heat the glow plug up. That way I can keep several extras in my toolbox. If I'm out playing, I don't have to worry about something constantly charged. Just a couple of brand new batteries thrown in. That way, anytime I get the urge to fire this sucker up, get it ready, get it going, I can just, if the battery's dead, just swap a battery out real quick, plug it up, and go. And this thing is pretty simple. You just take it, pull, clip down, and there you go. It clips down, your wire coming off to the side, feeds it power. This should heat the glow plug up. A couple pulls of the starter, fires it right up. So far, that's what I've got for this thing. Nothing major, so what I figure is, for right now, I've really been wanting to crank this sucker up and get it going. So why don't we go ahead and move on to installing the new HPI racing air filter, and maybe we'll go ahead and fill the tank up, get this little sucker wired up real quick, and let's go start it up, see what we got as far as this little car. Well, alright guys, if you notice, we got the carburetor throat right there. Filter, or the fuel line's coming up, feeding the carb. And I was sitting there just reading some specs. I don't think you're going to be able to see that too clearly. It says it fits 12 to 18 size engines, which, thank God, this is an 18. So let's just go ahead and crack this sucker open. Go ahead and get it open on the. It helped to rip it the whole way. If not, I've got my handy dandy knife. I don't see me needing the package. It is resealable. I'm guessing for some guys that like to keep everything together, which once I dump it out, odds are I'm going to pick what I need, and the rest of this will end up going into the toolbox for future use or needing it. So here we go. Provides a little Allen wrench. Not sure what that's for at the moment. We got the air filter itself in a nice little sealed package, and if you notice, we got the 90 degree bend on here, and we got a 45 two little zip ties. Got a million of these things around, and of course they include the instructions. So how about this? Give me a second, guys. Let me decipher all these instructions, exactly what I'm supposed to do, because I've never messed with the air filters for one of these nitros. Give me just a quick second, and I'll be right back with y'all guys. Well, alright guys, just reread the directions, and what kind of got me is, if you notice, that right there is a nitro bottle, same as the one we have here, and I never knew, but I guess once the air filter is fully soiled, you would actually take and soak it with nitro fuel, wring it out real good, clean it, whatever. Then, of course, apply your air filter oil back on the filter. I could see from this that it is pre-oiled, so it looks like it's ready to go. Let's go ahead. We'll get my nice little Cricut knife out, cut the package. Make sure my knife don't fall back and hit my toes. And here we go. And the reason they provide the Allen wrench is going to be for tightening. It's basically removing the components right there. So just looking to see what's the best configuration. We could put the filter right there, but it looks like it will probably block the lid from opening. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to go ahead and cut this tie strap And I'm thinking we're going to probably put this, I don't know, what do you think, guys? We could put this at a 45. Coming in, we'll kind of kick it up there. As long as I don't block the other adjustments for the carb, because that is going to be something we got to do, is actually adjust this, or too close to the motor. I think we are going to go with a little 45. We're going to remove this elbow, and what I'll do is just come up off of here, 45, to kind of just keep it out of the way. I don't have a body for this vehicle yet, and so I got to order one online. So let me go ahead and prep that, and what we're going to do is go ahead and cut this little tie strap and reassemble. We're just going to use a shorter 45. It will keep the air filter assembly out of the way of all the linkages. Then, possibly here in a minute, we're going to go ahead and fire this thing up. But I'm kind of curious to see how it runs and what kind of noise I can make. Alright guys, you seen that was pretty quick. Even though there was a little tie strap, zip tie, whatever you want to call it. It was on there but not super tight, so I was able to just use my little Cricut knife just to kind of help pry it off just a hair. Biggest question is which way to allow the fuel line. Should we allow it to stay on this side of the filter or on the other side where it could hit the motor? And I think that should be sufficient. Just checking. Actually, no, we're gonna pull this off. Looks like I've knocked off my little I guess what you call an antenna holder, a little antenna tube. I think we're just going to go ahead and actually keep it like this. There's a little lip you'll notice on the throat of the carburetor. I think that's actually perfect. And while we're at it, we'll go ahead and power on the remote, power on the vehicle itself, and double check what I'm looking for is right here. Make sure that the linkage itself doesn't interfere with anything, brake, carb, everything looks to be well adjusted. So now what we're going to do is just go ahead, take the last two remaining zip ties, zip tie the air filter assembly to the tube and the tube down to the throat of the carburetor. So we'll go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and fold the antenna up so I can put my remote back away. What we'll do also is I will go ahead and do this off camera. I have to go either find my little holder or go ahead and just rig it up to a C battery that's 1.5 volts. We'll go ahead and get this all ready. Make sure the glow plug can get hot. We'll go ahead and fill up my little bottle. We'll go ahead and do this all off camera. There's no point in boring y'all with small little details. Go ahead and do this. We'll take it outside and give it a fire up. And I'll remember need to grab a little miniature flathead screwdriver so we can tune this outside and get a good couple little passes. Alright guys, stay tuned. Alright guys, I was going to show you this thing running. I've ran into one more little slight issue. Nothing major on my end. What I'm going to have to do is go ahead online or I'm going to order me another tank. I noticed when use a little squeeze bottle, fill the tank up. When you go to crank it, you'll take your glow plug igniter, plop it on the top, clip it to your glow plug, and what you would want to do is if you come down to the exhaust, just put your finger over the exhaust, a couple of very short bursts, you'll see the back pressure from the fuel will push into the tank. From the tank, it'll push your fuel into your carb. Or there's another way you can just pull this off and just blow slightly. You'll see your fuel enter the throat of the carburetor or the side of whatever you want to call it. The major issue I have is I've noticed when I plugged the exhaust, gave it a couple of short pulls, that the fuel was not moving. So I did the other method of just blowing slightly into the tank, which will build the pressure in there and shoot it around into the carburetor. And what I noticed was I've had fuel spillage here on the bottom of the, I guess what is this, the bottom plate. Kind of goes with what I was seeing before, and this plate was real oily, so what I'm guessing is maybe the last owner, the reason he gave up on this is he couldn't get it to run properly because there was no pressure building up in the tank coming off the exhaust. I'm guessing due to a slight crack somewhere in this tank. These tanks are relatively inexpensive, they're like $5. So far what I've got invested in this car is I paid $25 for the entire car, minus radio and remote. Or receiver, remote, whatever you want to say. What else do I got invested? And the only thing I invested yesterday was $40 just into bottles, fuel, igniter, some of the basics that I needed for a nitro vehicle that I didn't have. So far, starting out, this is a $300, $300 something car total. I don't think still I have that bad of investment. $5 more for a new fuel tank isn't going to be nothing. And everything does work as I've showed in one of my previous videos. If you cut the vehicle on, helps cut the remote on too as well. You notice I've got steering, I've got brake, throttle, so I have everything there working as far as the, the little stuff. We know the engine itself isn't seized up because if you give it a couple of slight pulls, you can hear it. Everything there is good as well. So that's the only thing I have left to do is I'm just going to go ahead and order another fuel tank and go ahead and get me a good set of batteries. The battery I was using, it lit the glow plug but not quite as well, so we're going to go ahead and I'll go ahead and properly do this to the adapter. We'll go ahead and knock this out and I'll show that in a future video. I still have time. The weather is kind of cold and I really didn't want to tune this outside in very cold weather. So just stay tuned and hopefully we'll see this thing running soon. Thank you guys for watching and stay tuned for the next video on this, getting my little nitro car going. As always, rate, comment, subscribe. Subscribe is right down below, and as always, thumbs up if you like RC cars. Thank you so much, guys.